the savior of mankind. I. Arabia is a land of unparalleled charm and beauty, with its trackless deserts of sand dunes in the dazzling rays of a tropical Sunday. Its starry sky has excited the imagination of poets and travelers. It was in this land that the Rasul was born, in the city of Mecca, which is about 50 miles from the Red Sea. 2. The Arabs possessed a remarkable memory and were an eloquent people. Their eloquence and memory found expression in their poetry. Every year a fair was held for poetical competitions at Ukaz. It is narrated that Hamad said to Caliph Walid bin Yazid, "I can recite to you, for each letter of the alphabet, 100 long poems, without taking into account short pieces, and all of that composed exclusively by poets before the promulgation of Islam." It is no small wonder that Allah Almighty chose the Arabic language for his final dispensation and preservation of his word. 3. In the 5th and 6th centuries, mankind stood on the verge of chaos. It seemed that the civilization which had taken 4,000 years to grow had started crumbling. At this point in time, Allah Almighty raised a Rasul from among themselves who was to lift the humanity from ignorance into the light of faith. When Hazrat Muhammad was 38 years of age, he spent most of his time in solitude and meditation. In the cave of Hira, he used to retire with food and water and spend days and weeks in remembrance of Allah Almighty. 4. The period of waiting had come to a close. His heart was overflowing with profound compassion for humanity. He had a pressing urge to eradicate wrong beliefs, social evils, cruelty, and injustice. The moment had arrived when he was to be bestowed with Nabiyyut. One day, when he was in the cave of Hira, Hazrat Gabriel A.S., came and conveyed him the following message of Allah Almighty: "Read in the name of thy Lord who created man from a clot of congealed blood. Read, and thy Lord is most bountiful, who taught the use of the pen, taught man that which he not." Quran 96, 1-5. The revelation of the divine message, which continued for the next 23 years, had begun, and the Rasul had arisen to proclaim oneness of Allah, Tawheed, and the unity of mankind. His mission was to destroy the nexus of superstition, ignorance, and disbelief, set up a noble conception of life, and lead mankind to the light of faith and divine bliss. 6. Since this belief was threatening their dominance in the society, the pagan Arabs started to mount pressure on the Rasul and his followers. They wanted them to renounce their cause and take to idol worshipping. On one occasion, they sent a delegation to the Rasul's kind and caring uncle, Abu Talib. They told him to restrain the Rasul from preaching Allah Almighty's message or face their enmity. Finding himself in a dilemma, he sent for his nephew and explained to him the situation. The Rasul responded with these memorable words: "My dear uncle, if they put the sun in my right hand and the moon in my left, even then I shall not abandon the proclamation of the oneness of Allah, Tawheed. I shall set up the true faith upon the earth or perish in the attempt." 7. The Rasul's uncle was so impressed with his nephew's firm determination that he replied, "Son of my brother, go thy way, none will dare touch thee. I shall never forsake thee." And the Rasul did go the way Allah Almighty had chosen for mankind. Imbued with divine guidance and firm resolve, the Rasul encountered all the challenges with grace and dignity. In no time he elevated man to the highest possible level in both spiritual and worldly domains. He was also a driving force behind Arab conquests, which have created an everlasting impression on human history. No wonder he is universally acknowledged as the most influential figure in history. In the words of Michael Hart, a great historian. 8. Muhammad however, was responsible for both the theology of Islam and its main ethical and moral principles. In addition, he played a key role in proselytizing the new faith and in establishing the religious practices. In fact, as the driving force behind the Arab conquests, he may well rank as the most influential political leader of all time. The Arab conquests of the 7th century have continued to play an important role in human history, down to the present day. 9. Such a thorough transformation of man and society owes to the Rasuls, saw, deep faith in Allah Almighty, to his love for humanity, and to the nobility of his character. Indeed, his life is a perfect model to follow. In reply to a question about the life of the Rasul, saw, Hazrat Aisha, R.A., said, his morals and character are an embodiment of the Holy Quran. The final word about the Saviour of mankind goes to the Holy Quran, O Nabi. Surely, we have sent you as a witness, and as a bearer of good news, and as a warner, and as one inviting to Allah by his permission, and as a light-giving torch. Quran 33, 45-46.